Hi guys, my name is Kev and welcome in our YouTube channel. This is going to be a channel primarily automotive projects, and we're going to start with this project behind me. Now you're going to say that's not a Discovery, and it's no. This is a Mitsubishi Shogun that I've owned for around 10 years. In that time I got it completely stock. We've made some modifications to it. So we raised it up, we put some 35-inch tyres on it, we extended the arches, gave it a snorkel, but primarily for the last 10 years this has been my tow vehicle, and after 10 years of hard work it's time to just let it go. In that 10 years it's had 2 engine rebuilds, 2 sets of injectors, a turbo, countless heat gaskets, and as you can see it's not doing very well for itself, so I'm going to let it go. So we're going to replace it with this. This is a Land Rover Discovery 2014 Disco 4. This is a HSE spec, one owner for new, 70,000 miles. So we're going to do some modifications to it, and it's the same MO as the last motor. We're going to raise it up, we're going to put some big tyres on it, extend the arches, put a snorkel on it, some lights, a tow bar. So I'm going to take you into the garage and I'm going to show you some of the modifications that we've got planned for it. So let's get a look at some of the stuff that we're going to be doing to this motor. So we're going to start off with a bit of maintenance. So this motor's still got the original plastic inlet manifolds that split and give you boost leaks. So I've got the new upgraded aluminium versions, hopefully these fare a bit better. We've got a new timing belt kit. We'll do an engine service while we've got it apart. So we've obviously got a tow bar we'll need to stick on it. We've got some lights, I've got a light bar, I've got a virtual cockpit, we've got a snorkel for it as well. This is the wheel and tyre combo that we're going to be running. This is a 35 by 12.5 18. Essentially the same size tyre that's on the Shogun outside, albeit a different size rim. To fit that, we're going to have to lift it. So we're going to put a 2-inch suspension lift and a 2-inch body lift on this motor. I've bought all new upper arms for it. Anybody that's done them upper arms will know they'll do a nice job today. So between the upper arms, the body lift, the timing belt kit, the inlet manifolds, it's probably going to be easier just to split the body for the chassis. So whilst we've got the body split for the chassis, we're going to make sure it's all cleaned up underneath, make sure there's no rust, gets plenty of paint and that on it, make this last for a few years yet. When I first started running about in that Shogun, that was the motor that I used to bring my son home to the hospital when he was first born. He's now 7-year-old, and I'm going to get him involved in some of the videos. Hey guys, now I've got it up on the air, I'll take you under and show you what we can see underneath, and it's not actually that bad. Engine's nice and dry, no oil leaks, it's quite rare for one of these. Somebody's already took the time to put new bottom arms on it, on the front, so that's fairly decent. The DPF filter has had a nice modification prior to his buying this, no very discreet, but still does the job. We'll see if we can tidy that up a bit. As for the corrosion underneath that we were concerned ourselves about, this is it. It's literally just starting. So I'm sure as long as we get on this, we've caught it well in time. Clean that up, get it repainted. Other side's the same. I'll show you. To clean that up, get it painted, I think we've got that in plenty of time. Well, that'll last for another good few years yet. So all in all, I don't think that was too bad I find underneath. So stick with us and we'll try and get this body and chassis separated. So this should give you a better idea of what exactly we've got going on here. So if we can run to this side, you'll see there's the inlet manifold that's been split, starting to leak down the back of that engine. Can do that with the body on, but it is definitely easier with the body off. The chassis, not too bad at all, just needing a wee bit of a clean up here and there. And the main concerns were in the back of these sills. You can see both sides now. We'll get them cleaned up, painted. We'll get our body lift fitted. Get our big tyres on. I know we're going to need to trim back these at the front of these body mounts. We'll trim them back and get them welded up, that's no problem. I know we need to do that, so we're going to do that. We're going to do the inlet manifolds, we'll do the timing belt, the body lift, we'll do the back arms. These bolts, so much easier to get into now that the body's off, as they are not particularly nice to do when the body's on. And anything else maintenance wise that we find along the way, we'll get it cleaned up, we'll get it done, dealt with, hopefully back together soon. So that's it all rubbed down, and we've covered it in rust cure. There's plenty of online arguments whether that stuff works or not, but for the amount of time that it takes to do it, I thought I may as well do it. It's a Land Rover at the end of the day. I don't suspect it's going to stop it rusting, or there'd be people would be bathing them in it. But we'll let that dry. We'll pull out what grommets we can, so as we can get into the back of the sills. We took the side steps off and nothing hiding under there. They're actually really decent, but we'll get them painted once it's back on the chassis and on its wheels and the ramps at the road. So I've got some modifications today to the front for clearance for the tyres, and then paint, and that should be the body taken care of. Now this is the front bit where the tyres catch when bigger tyres are fitted. Now what we should probably have done would have been put a test tyre on, measure it, see how much we had to cut, but we didn't, and we're a bit late for that now. So I'm hoping that if you see this one where the wing stops, you can see this one where the wing stops. So by the time that's welded up, bit of seam sealer on it, and there's an inspection. Let me see. There's a grommet there will let us in to blast the under seal into the back side of where we're welded, so there shouldn't be any rusting going on there. We'll trim the wing at a later date once we've got the wheels and tyres on. I'm pretty sure they need to be trimmed, but we'll find out the hard way once we put it all back together. There's that one, all welded up, good as new. There's that one, seam sealed up. Once that's dry, we'll get it all coated in paint. Better than ones you'd get in a store. So this is now dried, seeing what we're left with. To be honest, a bit rustier than I expected it to be for the age and the mileage that it's done, but it gives us an opportunity now to get it cleaned up. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get these top arms removed for both sides, gives a bit more access to get in and clean it. Hopefully get it prepped. Again, we've got some modifications today on the front. This body mount here sticks out considerable, and the bigger tyres don't clear that, so we're going to need to sort of modify this and get that welded up. But that should be fairly straightforward to do. So we'll try and get the arms removed, cleaned up, the front's welded up. That means we can get the chassis painted and get some time to dry when we're doing the repair work on the engine.
Now that took less than 10 minutes to take that off, but if you have ever tried to do one of these with the body on, you will quickly realise that is not a 10-minute job, and it's all down to that one bolt. It jams in that sleeve, and it is a nightmare to try and get it out. And you'll see that the chassis has a relief cut in it as standard, so you only need to cut one side, but working in that gap is hard going. So all done. That was the bits that were rusty before, so I'm kind of hoping that will last a bit longer now. I'm going to wait until the body's back on the chassis. Once the body's back on the chassis and I can get it rolled off the ramp, that's when we'll get in and get them done. We'll get all the plugs out them. I've got the hose there for doing the cavity injections, and we'll do all any holes that we can get into with that. Again, this is a Land Rover, it's inevitable it's going to rust, but if this can prolong it, get a bit more time with it, and happy days. So as you can see guys, we're not going for a premium job here. This isn't a 30 grand Evo or some sort of show car. This is a workhorse, so we're just getting into the bits that we're certainly not going to be able to get into once the body's back on. So a couple of hours cleaning it up and putting some rust cure on some of the spots that are just quite awkward to get into. The majority it's actually alright. This wee section in the middle, round about these suspension points, is probably the worst part. The rest of it all seems clean. Front, I've seen very little on it at all, to be honest. So we'll let that dry for a couple of hours, and then we will paint just the tops and probably the outsides. Basically anything that we can get into when the body's on. Just trying to make this a bit easier for us, but it won't all be getting done. Once the body and the chassis are back together, we see what we're left with underneath, and then we'll basically blitter on the rest of it. We're not really caring about getting any of these wires or pipes or suspension components or anything like that. Like I say, this is a workhorse. It's just getting blasted with it just to basically prolong its life. If it was a show car or something that we were restoring, we'd probably have stripped the whole back end off it, diffing that off it, and got it either dipped or shot blasted. But this motor just does not warrant that level of attention to detail on it. So I think what we're doing is good enough for it. So this is where we're at. for now, guys. Cleaned up, painted. I've left it for a couple of hours there to dry. It's not solid yet. We'll try to crack on as much as we can here. I've got back arms done. I've got the lifting rods fitted there on their shortest setting, so should be the car at maximum height. We'll need to adjust that properly once we've got it on the ground with the new tyres on it. I've freed all these nuts off the top of these struts, greased them up, anti-seize on them. I'm not sure if I'm going to fit spacers to them or not. I know a lot of people, I saw online people putting spacers on them, so as that if there was ever a problem and the suspension dropped to its bump stops, you can still make it home without the tyres catching. I think with the body lift on this, I should still be okay. And I think that with the kids, taking the side steps and that off, that access height might be more useful to me. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I've freed them off so as that if need be, they'll be fairly easy to come off and we can stick spacers in them. So the back should be done. It's going to need the alignment done. I've put everything back as it was, but we'll get a 4-wheel alignment done once it's, obviously its ride height's going to be changed. So these bullhorns, as they call them, on the front, again, we should probably have measured just how much to cut off. I think that, to be fair, these didn't even need capped. There is already I don't know if I'll be able to show you here. There is already a cap in there. I think that front bit is like an end cap. Safety thing is for catching the wheel in a crash. So let's just try no crash, we'll not worry about that. But I have capped them up, welded them, cleaned them up. I think I've took more than enough off. I've seen people hacking these, bashing them with hammers, then having to go back. I've gave us plenty of clearance, because one, I would rather not be back trying to modify it once the body's on, and two, if the gearbox is alright with the 35s on it and it's driving fine, it always gives us room for putting bigger tyres on at a later date, but we'll stick with 35s for now. So the paint on the chassis is only the bits that we can get into while the body's on, so there's still painting to be done on that, but it will be done once the body's reattached. I've not done any painting on the front as of yet. I've still got the top arms today on the front, and we've got a bit of maintenance today on the engine. So I'll get the back wheels on, and then we'll probably crack on with the maintenance on the engine. Mainly the inlet, manifolds and timing belt front and back. Obviously the back timing belts can be done in place, but if anybody's done them, you'll know they're a pain in the rear end. So when it's off like this, it's a no-brainer to get it done. I'm also probably going to tackle the exhaust whilst it's like this. It makes sense to, nobody wants to be welding upside down. So it makes sense whilst I've got it like this to tackle the exhaust. I could tidy up that gutted DPF, put some form of heat shield or something there to cover it, but for having older Land Rovers before, part of their character is to have a bit of noise and a bit of smoke. So I think I've got pipe work there to basically just ditch that. I will ditch that centre section as well and just leave the back boxes. We can always add it back in if it's too obnoxious, but I don't think you'll hear it over the tyres. I've also noticed for many years on Land Rovers, the V6s, they only get a catalyst on one bank, which is quite a strange ordeal, so we'll probably ditch the cat. I'm waiting on the modified turbo drain coming. They have an issue where if you don't use the second turbo after X amount of miles, the turbo doesn't drain properly, and the first time it comes on to boost, it comes on boost with a puff of smoke. Sort of symptoms of a blown turbo, but it's a bad design with the oil drain. So I'm waiting on an oil drain coming for that. I was hoping that would have been here by now. I've never done one of them before, so I was waiting to see what was involved with that, because there's considerably more room if we take the top arm off and the heat shield, etc., and it's getting new top arms anyway. So I was hoping that would have been here by now. So if we crack on with the manifolds and the timing belt kit, hopefully that arrives before we're at a point to move forward, because I'd like to just finish get this painted and get it back, at least the body at least back on it, so it's at least mobile, and then we can see where we go from there. Once it's mobile, obviously we can park it outside, and it's not taking up valuable space in the garage to let me crack on with some other stuff. So that's it all apart, cleaned up. I don't know why I was messing about so much with that timing cover yesterday. I was just trying to cut corners, get the inlet manifolds off so that if I needed to order anything else, I wasn't sure if I could see dampness in the middle of that V. I know they're bad for the oil coolers, so I was just trying to cut corners, but I should just have took it off in the first place. It just makes the job so much easier. But that's it all apart. I'm going to get it cleaned up and put back together. But when we lifted that inlet manifold off, this was jammed in one of the ports. Have no idea what that is or where it has came from, but it was sitting, it was lodged in there. So fairly confident that's not meant to be there. I don't know what that is. Part of the... I've examined the inlet manifolds and that, and I can't see. I have no idea. I don't know. Anybody knows what it is, they can let me know. But so we should be on to just a rebuild job now. So just by case of cleaning everything up and try to remember where a jigsaw parts goes. Get parts spread out most of the garage floor. But we'll get this built back up. But I'll not bore you with a long-winded video. Hey guys, this is where we're at. Bit of an update on this. I don't know just how much, I've videoed a load of this, but I don't know how much I'm going to show, because this boring stuff is, well, it's boring the pants off of me doing it, so I don't want to put you through too much yet. So it'll probably be a lot of time lapse and shortened down. But so chassis cleaned up, painted, new back arms on it, copper slipped up all the bolts, so if anything ever needs to come off or anything again, hopefully it makes our life a bit easier. Fitted the new, I think they call them Johnson rods, or basically for the fuel air suspension, and it gives a lift on that. Done them. Cut the, I think they call them bull horns, or basically the front body mount on it. We cut and shortened them, gives plenty of clearance for the tyres to get in. Done the inlet manifolds. Took our time and got every bracket clip back in at the back, because I didn't want to run the risk of anything chafing once it was back on the road. One of the things that I had seen online when people were commenting on these inlet manifolds was that they made the engine slightly noisier. So I wanted to take my time and try and get all that, the covers, these mats, these sound deadening mats, back on, the ones under them as well, just to keep the noise down. They were relatively straightforward to fit. There's one fuel pipe, the balance pipe that goes between both injector rails. It needed sort of bent slightly at the edge of the manifold on both sides, or it would have rubbed on one of they've got like wee torque screws that hold them together on these updated ones. Other than that, they were fairly straightforward. So they were cleaned up, sealed on, new injector seals, cleaned all them, put them on. Made EGR valve blanks, nothing pretty, just straightforward. Cut the pipe off, welded a block in. Let's say it doesn't look pretty, but will do the job just fine. Done the timing belt at the front and the pump belt at the back. It looked like it had been done fairly recently. Probably didn't need doing, but it's done now, peace of mind. This, one of the things with this motor when we got it was there was zero service history with it, so if we just do it all then I know it's done. So done that, got all that back together. The oil return pipe for the turbo still isn't here. I had a look online at what was involved in doing that. I've got a L405 4.4 and I had looked at doing that some time ago, and there's quite a lot involved in that. I thought this was going to be a similar sort of idea, but this one looks a lot easier. If it doesn't show up by the time I'm finished doing the other bits and bobs to this and it's time for the body to go back on, then so be it, because that modification can be done with it in place. It looks to me by the videos I've seen online that it's a case of taking the starter out and working through a gap down there. So I've got upper front arms to do. Obviously we're going to just briefly, very slightly clean up the bits of the chassis. The front of the chassis is really no bad at all. Clean that up and get a coating of paint on it where we can. Again, we're not being overly picky with this, but just to kind of make it uniform, because the front of it doesn't need just a wee bit of protection on these bits that we've obviously buffed back to this deal. We're going to modify the exhaust, as I said in the last one. Basically, I've got some old bits of pipe there for other random motors that I'll be able to use to just basically do away with this contraption. Again, if it's too loud or obnoxious, I'll not be throwing anything out, we can go back to it and add something in, but I've had a few motors like this, and as soon as you put this sort of chunkier tread on the tyres, that's more than likely what's going to, what you're going to hear out of the exhaust anyway. But we'll see, once it's back together and we're out on the road and we test it, we'll see what's going on. So I say a couple of things today and then we're pretty much ready to get the body back on, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, this will start getting a bit more entertaining rather than this mundane, boring stuff that we've been doing. But you kind of need to start with the foundations before we get into the good stuff. Right guys, exhaust done. I've no welded right around them, but once it's up on the ramp, once it's back together, I'll be able to weld the bottom half of them. For those that were playing along at home, that is a centre section from a 535D E60. It was just in the scrap bin. Seems to fit in pretty perfectly. Again, if it's too noisy, we can always revert back and stick a silencer in. I can't remember what that pipe was for that was on the road of that cat. Again, just something at the scrap bin that we made fit in. Painted the last of the front bit of the chassis. That's all done now. So as far as I'm concerned, the chassis is now ready to go back next door and get joined with the body, which I'm not sure if I'm looking forward to or not. I want this bit here and done with my hair, but I'm not looking forward to the job that's involved in putting them back together. But let's see how we go on. So last thing to deal with on this is the body lift. Every body lift that's advertised for sale does not come with new extended bolts, which I didn't think to be a big deal. I thought it was just going to be a case I go to the local hardware store and get some new bolts for it. But the standard Land Rovers is M13 by 1.75, so it's quite a unique bolt. So I had trouble trying to locate bolts that size but quite long. I think it'd be 150mm. So I had read online that the Ford Ranger gets these bolts as standard quite long. You can use them. I got some of them. They're about 25mm longer, which was no enough for a 2-inch lift. So I was searching online trying to get companies to even make me bolts, screwed rod, whatever, which was proving to be quite difficult. I found a post for somebody that had the same issue, and they, I can't remember if it was on a Land Rover or not, but they tapped theirs out for a M13 to an M14, and that seemed to do the trick. So I copied his line of thought, got a M14 by 1.5 tapped them out. Seemed to tap it fairly easy, leave plenty of meat in there obviously because it's going up a size. Went to the local hardware shop, got M14 by 1.5 bolts, 150mm long, and that's fixing that issue for anybody that's running into the same problems, because that was quite a unique issue that nobody had. Well, I didn't see it coming anyway, but I tapped them out now, so next is bolt them together. So that's the body and the chassis back together, thank God. Wasn't as bad as I expected it was going to be, but it wasn't easy either. I think the body lift spacers played a part in making it a bit more awkward than it had to be, but it's back together anyway. So I just need to connect everything up and then we'll turn the key, see how the bodged exhaust sounds, and then we can go on with the rest of the mods. Hey guys, it's been a few days and as you can see we are back together. It wasn't the worst job in the world putting it back together. I've noticed there's plenty of videos on taking them apart but no any putting them back together. It would just have, I didn't video it, it would just have been a video with bolting loads of stuff on, then having to unbolt it to realise something goes on first and blah blah blah. I always knew with the body lift that there was going to be things slightly different positions. To be honest, mechanically, pretty much everything had enough stretch or give in it to fit. The only thing that had to be modified was the intake pipe for the driver's side, the right hand turbo. It was too short for the airbox. I had to cut that and put a sleeve in it. That, and I had to make two little brackets for the top of the coolant radiator, just to be locating lugs, just to stop it moving a bit. Other than that, everything else fitted. Like I say, a bit, some stuff's a bit snug, but it does fit. One thing I will say is, if you take a job like this on yourself, when you put it back together, make sure that you bleed the brakes before you try and start it, because otherwise you will be scratching your head and checking every plug and earth point on this to try and figure out why it's not starting. These need brake pressure to start. I thought it was just old school with a switch on the pedal, but now it needs to see brake pressure, so I had to bleed the brakes to get it to start. Done a bit of work off camera just in regards to wee brackets at the bottom of the wings. I had to riv nut them in just so as the wings were supported, because we cut the bottom of the wing off where it usually attaches.
I've got the inner arches in, the arch liners, I've got them in and in place, and I made little brackets up for them. I've not trimmed this outer arch here. I'll wait until the wheel and tyre is on before we trim that, and then obviously we've got the wee arch extensions to go on. I want to make them as neat and tidy as I can, so I'll wait to see just how much needs to be trimmed from them before we put it on. Front bumper, quite a lot had to be cut on the inside of that to make that fit. Obviously the impact bar stays with the chassis, whereas the bumper needs to sit 2 inches higher. But after that was cut out, that actually sits and fits pretty decent, I would suggest. Back bumper, a little bit different, had to trim quite a lot off the bottom of that. You kind of see the impact bar, but I couldn't modify the impact bar because that's part of the tow bar housing, so that all had to stay as one, but it doesn't look too bad at all. If there was any issues with the front on this, there was always a plan in the back of my head to get a winch bumper for the front of this. They seem to be quite rare, and the people that have them seem to want quite a lot of money for them. That's something that I may explore at a later date, could possibly make our own, but for now we're happy just to run it with this bumper on it. So we've got a load of add-ons to go onto this now. Obviously wheels and tyres, arches, load of lights and stuff like that, but I'm hoping that after 3 weeks I've been the most boring Land Rover video ever, that things will now start to get a bit more entertaining. So if you're stuck around this long, you may as well subscribe and then see just where this project ends up.